Today we'll be reviewing a podcast called The Adam Carolla Show. Cros and I both listen to this show a lot. We have not discussed it with each other beforehand. Let's get into it. Cros, you did the heavy lifting this week, and I appreciate that. You have a lot of clips.
Yeah, I have a lot to say on the Adam Carolla Show, I guess. I found that out in the last couple days.
Okay, so we picked this show because I'm an avid listener. You got me into this show in the first place many years ago. You were an avid listener, and I believe that you have dropped off since then.
Yeah, I was a 20-year Adam Carolla fan.
Yes.
We used to watch Loveline on MTV back in my college dorm, laugh our asses off about it. I remember
Loveline was a great show.
Loveline was a great show. It was also a great radio show for many years before and after that. I remember my friends and I used to watch The Man Show back in the day.
Sure.
So Howard Stern drops off terrestrial radio in January 2006. Adam Carolla goes on the air on the West Coast. They used to put the MP3s up on the website like as they were going through the segments. So, I mean, I was listening to him then. In 2009, he starts this podcast. It starts off with two guys and, lapel mics in his warehouse. And it gradually grows into, he brings the sound guy back. He's got a news girl. It's a very Morning Zoo type of feel. There's a news segment. There's callers. Very radio-esque type of feel to the show. Anyway, about last summer, my God, I heard everything I could fucking hear from Adam Carolla, and I went from, looking forward to the show and spending my morning jog with the show and my morning commute with the show to, I can't listen to another fucking story about this guy's fucking parents and everything else. And so I dropped off. I hadn't listened to it in over a year until we started talking about doing this, and I went right back, and it's like I never fucking dropped off. Dude, they were talking about the same shit they were talking about last fucking summer.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I was wondering if you were going to grab clips from old shows. We didn't specify. Usually on WATP, we pick a specific episode to review from a podcast. And, of course, Adam Carolla comes out every day, and he's got thousands of shows. So I was wondering if you were going to go back to shows that you listened to back when you listened to it, or if you're going to pull from more recent episodes. So you pulled from this week.
Yeah, just the last week or so of shows.
Okay, so I still listen to Adam Carolla regularly. I still like the show, but I feel you. I pulled a couple of ISOs to illustrate this point, things like this.
And I'm a broken record over here.
Yep.
And also, this is a fun ISO for Adam Carolla.
And I've told you the story before, but
I've told you the story before, Carl. But let me launch into a 6.5 minute fucking tirade about some traffic situation I encountered 6.5 years ago.
So, did you happen to listen to? He did a podcast from his other warehouse. Adam Carolla's a very rich man. He's got a huge warehouse where he does his show, and then another one where he has all of his cars and makes his documentaries and all that stuff. He had a show from his other warehouse where they were watching the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor fight. Did you hear that one?
I saw that in the feed and I avoided it like the fucking plague.
All right, good. You got a million clips, so I'm going to get us started here. He's talking to these guys, and I thought this was kind of funny because this is what he says.
my listeners have heard me tell the same 11 stories 2,000 times.
Which is great. I mean, at least he acknowledges that. But so, the other guy on the show is like, yeah, and actually they give him a little bit of shit. This is the longer version of that clip.
My listeners have heard me tell the same 11 stories 2,000 times.
Are there 11 now?
I rounded up.
So, I mean, they're acknowledging it, at least, that he does repeat himself often. This is the thing that surprises me about Adam Carolla. I think he's very funny. I think it's a good show. But he does repeat himself a lot. Mm-hmm. And in morning radio, that's to be expected because people listen for between 20 minutes and 35 minutes at a time. They don't hear the whole show. I remember when Howard Stern went off the air in Rochester, you started burning me the episodes on, because they were MP3s somewhere. You would burn them on CD-ROMs for me. And that was the first time I ever listened to whole episodes of Howard Stern. I used to always just grab little bits and pieces during the commute. Yeah. And so in radio, you repeat what you did yesterday. You talk about what you're going to do tomorrow. Then you do it tomorrow.
Of course.
It's just
if something
same stuff.
If something big comes up in the news, you want to make sure you mention the 7 o'clock hour. Right. And you want to make sure you mention the 8 o'clock hour. And it goes on and on like that.
So I think Adam Carolla is still in that mode. But he shouldn't be, because people are listening. You're not just listening to 15-minute clips of his show.
Exactly. Well, and he himself says, this is a podcast I don't have to set the table again. So you don't, every 15 minutes, you don't say, well, I'm sitting here talking to Karl from the WATP podcast, like you would in an AM radio show.
If you just joined us.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing that kills me about Adam Carolla. He's a very good broadcaster, but he does the Adam Carolla Show 5 days a week. He does Ace on the House. He does CarCast, Take a Knee, Reasonable Doubt, and the Adam and Drew Show, which is also 5 days a week now.
Oh, Jesus.
So he's putting out like 15 podcasts every single week.
Oh, yeah.
And most of them are an hour plus, where it's just him talking. It's not like there's formats to these shows.
Of course.
There's a little bit of format to Adam Carolla Show. I do like they have some reoccurring bits, games, and things they play. I wish more podcasts would do that sort of thing. I started listening to, this is just a side note, I started listening to Anthony and Artie Show.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So Anthony Cumia and Artie Lang, I decided, let's give this a try. And, my God, it pisses me off that even guys who are that talented, and I love Anthony Cumia, I love Artie Lang, even guys who are that talented who think that they don't have to have any format at all, we'll just talk, we'll just shoot the shit for 2 hours. Like, Jesus Christ. Don't do that. It's not good.
This may be out there for an analogy. Adam Carolla's a very funny guy, and he has a great rhythm. Like when he's talking, when he's hosting a show, he's doing the traffic cop thing. There's a great rhythm to it that is compelling to listen to. But I found some of the worst bandmates that I've had have been the best musicians. They have natural talent. They show up. They know they can just wing it, so they don't fucking prepare at all.
Right.
And I guarantee that's what's going on here. He waltzes in. He has no idea what he's going to talk about. He knows he can just open his mouth and talk for an hour, so he just does it, and it ends up being a repeat of the same shit from the day before and the day before that. Then
I'm a broken record over here.
Precisely. And then I'll say, wait, was I telling that on this podcast or the other podcast? Well, let me just fucking break into it.
Yeah, you know what I was telling Garrigus the other day? It's like, yes, I do know. It's on the other show.
And some of those other people, like he's with Dr. Drew, who's just a fucking beaten man at this point.
I can't listen to that show anymore. I stopped listening to Adam and Drew Show because it was just Adam Carolla belittling Dr. Drew.
Oh my
nonstop.
God! For an hour at a time over just fucking nonsense. So back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Let's get into some clips here. I got a whole slate of football games to watch today.
Let's talk about our cast. So we got Bald Bryan, who's been there since the radio show days. He's funny.
I love Bald Bryan.
He's great at the clips, the sound, the drops.
He's quick.
And then we got Gina. Gina's a newer addition. She only been there a few years. She's different from the rest of the gang in that she has a great broadcaster's voice. Like, she's very much a Robin Quivers type. She's an incredible voice, lovely woman, zero personality or humor or ability to tell a joke. And just, if you want to fire off those first 3 clips that I got, let's listen to Gina adding to the show.
I had a crush on this girl.
She's a whistleblower, I assume?
I wish she'd blown more than a whistle.
All right.
Okay. That was Gina cackling in the background.
And Bald Bryan's got a good line there, but all right, maybe not. Number 2 is just distracting how this laugh goes.
From the 80s, in full glaze and ceramic on a plate.
That's not glaze.
The shell around it.
Okay.
Could you imagine sitting around a table with someone who fucking laughed like that?
Well, here's the thing with Gina Grad. A couple things that I want to point out. One is that she is on a morning radio show.
Yes.
She is a morning jock. Mm-hmm. That is her profession in life. So it's odd because usually podcasts don't get the radio pros on there. And there's a good reason for that. Because podcasting is all about not being that cheesy morning drive radio show. And Gina Grad was hired after Allison Rosen was fired.
Yeah.
And the reasons that Adam Carolla gave for Allison Rosen getting fired, I think is the reason why Gina Grad sucks so bad.
Yes. Oh,
because
absolutely.
He's like, I don't like Allison Rosen because she's not on board. She's not loving everything that I'm doing.
She gets bored when I play race car sound.
Right, exactly. So I think that's kind of Gina is going, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I have to sit here and act like everything is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's going on around me all the time.
And speaking of that, here's number 3. Here's Gina trying to make a point.
In the movie, there's a big Vegas tournament. Do they ever do that in Vegas? A big arm wrestling?
Yeah.
They have that.
Live show.
Oh, my God.
Karl,
I know.
Is this a microphone in front of us? Oh, my God. It's a microphone. I mean,
if you talk to people on Twitter, they might argue that I don't have a microphone for this show. But yes, it is a microphone in front of us.
A tin can string, whatever. All right. And I swear to God, I'm done picking on Gina after this one.
Wait, hold on. I want to back up real quick on that clip. I want to explain that. She's talking about, because I listen to all these shows.
Of course.
She's talking about the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. It's an arm wrestling movie.
Yeah.
I watched this back in the 80s when it came out. It's garbage. It's just a pile of crap. She brings it up like it's this hidden gem of a movie that everyone has to see.
Yeah.
Because Adam Carolla talks about Cobra all the time. And that's an old Sylvester Stallone movie that he's in love with.
Yeah.
So now she's part of the club because she likes Over the Top. And apparently in her world, all of a sudden out of nowhere, arm wrestling is really important. And she goes, oh my gosh, there's an arm wrestling tournament in Vegas? That's amazing. Like, no, it's not. It's not. Nobody cares. And moving on.
It's a 40-year-old movie about a non-sport. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about?
It's got a 6 on Rotten Tomatoes. What are we doing?
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
So number 4 is Gina talking or laughing at the bathroom door.
If the door's 6-8 inches open, that means enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way you think that's funny, Gina, because this is the 500th fucking time you've heard the 5-minute soliloquy about the bathroom door. When I used to listen all those years ago, that was one of the things that drove me fucking crazy. Yes. If the door's closed, somebody's in there. If the door's open... Dude, it was a 5-minute speech that I heard dozens of times. The first fucking show that I queued up after my year-long hiatus from the Carolla Show, the first fucking thing they talk about is the bathroom fucking door, and then Gina's cracking up like it's the funny... If this was the first fucking time you heard it, maybe it's worth a chuckle. The 50th time, the same story with the same fucking... It's unfucking believable to me.
And I've told you the story before, but...
Thank you so much. So... let's get into some of the content of the Adam Carolla Show. Now, I got a 3-clip package here.
Okay, great.
Now, your instinct is going to be to play clips over this and try to make it funny, but I think that we should present to our audience at WATP how to make 30 seconds into a fucking eternity. Go ahead and hit number 5 for me.
Okay. So you're telling me not to play drops over this at any point?
Let's just enjoy
when I get bored and start hitting buttons over here.
Let's enjoy this. Let's really take a moment to let this sink in.
This is Thursday at 10 in the morning.
Just taking the car out.
Just taking the car out. So that's how fast everyone was going.
Okay. So
that's how fast the race cars were going on the racetrack?
So, Carl, that's how fast everyone was going. Then he says this. Can you hit number 6 for me?
Yeah.
And everyone tweets me the next day and goes, it's a podcast, douche. But I'll show you.
Oh, boy.
After I play my race car sounds, people write me and say, Adam, we don't like it when you play race car sounds because it's a podcast. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So he says this, and then for 4 solid minutes, because I fucking timed it, it goes this. I chopped it down to 30-something seconds. Here's number 7. It just goes. It just fucking goes. It goes. It goes. It goes. It goes. Who the fuck is listening to
At the beginning of the race, the Harry part.
And then they're talking over it.
And I've profiled many of the drivers, and the guy in the blue Sunoco Porsche is a maniac.
The guy in the blue fucking Sunoco Porsche, like, even if you can hear what the fuck they're saying, which is a challenge, you don't know what it's...
This is why Allison Rosen got fired, because she wasn't excited about these races when he was
that's
showing them during a podcast.
So this goes on for 5 minutes, and then the rest of the cast is, like, pretending to be fucking interested. Of course. Oh, Adam, that blue car is going so fast.
I know.
You profiled the fucking thing. So as we're going on, we already talked about trying to take a shit at the racetrack. We talked about driving on the fucking racetrack. Now let's get into clip 8 where he talks, and this is another long one. I apologize, but this is a door. This is an open door into the psyche of Adam Carolla.
So then we sit down at the Quail, and turns out the guy we're sitting across from, he auditioned with me at this warehouse when I was doing American Top Gear. He's an automotive journalist, and we were just sitting next to him, and he says, I've been an automotive journalist for 30 years. I said, oh, okay. And then Matt, who's kind of the salesman in the group, he said, have you seen the 24-Hour War, our documentary on Le Mans? I said, no, I haven't caught that one. And then he said, have you seen the Paul Newman racing document? No, wow. No, I haven't got it. And it's it's so insanely frustrating because you got a guy who's been doing this for 30 years they are choked of any kind of quality. Like when you watch those car videos and stuff, it's grainy, it's bad. Snuff porn is a higher quality and better produced and better acted. And for some reason, the guy who does this for a living, it never trickled down to him. It's right in a sweet spot. He's the right age, like a 60-year-old guy. Be perfect for him. Had never heard of either one, which
is
is
amazing.
It is insane.
It's up your alley. It could not be more up your alley.
That's fucking amazing. So just to...
Someone hasn't seen the movie he made that's not available anywhere.
Yeah, just to fill in the blanks for the listeners at home, the dude, Adam Carolla, made 2 documentaries about race car drivers.
Right.
And it's fucking amazing that he has never even heard of my movie. It's fucking amazing. Can you believe that, Karl? Now listen, Karl, you may or may not know this about me.
He does get personally offended when people haven't seen his shitty documentaries. It's odd.
You may or may not know this about me, Karl, but
yeah.
I play a little guitar. I've been on a few CDs. I met a guy the other day who likes CDs.
Uh-huh.
He never even fucking heard of my CD. Can you believe that?
Wait, he listens to music. You play music, and he's never heard your music?
He never even heard. Isn't that amazing?
What an asshole.
You fucking believe it? All right, so this goes on for like 6-7 minutes. I can't believe these people never heard of my shitty movie that you can't even fucking get anywhere.
Well, Cros, tell me how you're wired. I just want... Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you exactly how I'm wired. So a half hour later, same episode, number 9 comes up. This is different.
I wish I had a pencil just to break. All right, you know what? I should keep one. No, I don't want him to let me see it. I'm going to tuck it between my ass cheeks, and Vinny's going to coach me up so I can just. And over, what's that snapping sound? Nothing. I'll just keep a pencil. So when I go, hold on, before you answer with the doc, let me just. There you go. All right. Did you see my documentary, person whose car was in the middle of my documentary with your bikini girls down on the track? And who knows, maybe even you in some of the shots.
I haven't caught that.
That would be it. It's weird, right? It's so weird.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't, look, it's not for me.
It's so weird. So Adam Carolla goes to a racetrack, and he's talking about, I cut out all the context, but he's talking about a different group of people that he talked to who never saw his documentary. This dude is wandering around a racetrack just asking everyone he comes in contact to, hey, did you see my documentaries? Hey, did you see my documentaries? Hey, I made a movie with that car. Have you ever seen it?
No, I don't even think he's doing that. I think he assumes everyone there is a raving Adam Carolla fan who have watched his documentaries on a loop. And then when they are like, I've never heard of that, he's like, what?
Oh, my God.
How is that even possible? Because in his world, that he spent years on that nonsense. And of course everyone knows about it. How could they not?
I mean, the blazing narcissism is fucking intense. And it's like, it gets painful to listen to at a certain point. And aren't the people around you supposed to say at some point, maybe they just didn't fucking see it? It's not that weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I talk to people all the time, and I fucking haven't seen anything. They haven't seen it. Who gives a fuck? So let's step outside the Adam Carolla Show for just a minute and go to the Adam and Drew Show. I got 2 clips, ADS 1 and 2.
Okay.
This is also from this week, and I think this is just to shine a light on some of the other projects that the Ace Man has going.
All right, ADS 1.
Here you go.
At Pebble Beach, and I was sitting around eating lunch, and I'm sharing a table with a guy, and automotive journalist of 30 years.
Tom Shales?
Mm-hmm. Tom Shales. And I said, Tom Slick. And I said, oh, okay. And he started like talking to me about stuff or whatever. And I said, well, I made a documentary about Paul Newman racing. Oh, what's the name of that? And I was winning the race on Paul. Oh, okay. I'll have to.
That's pretty telling. He started talking to me about stuff or whatever. Like he's not a listener. This Adam Carolla.
No. Now, so I pop on the Adam and Drew Show. This is the opening segment.
Oh, really?
Drew says, Adam, I see people that say, oh, I used to love you and Adam on Loveline. And I say, oh, my God, it's so weird that you haven't heard that we do a fucking podcast now. So he says this, okay? This is the first 30 seconds of the fucking show.
All right.
And it kicks Adam off into this whole fucking thing about no one's seen my documentary. Go ahead and hit Adam and Drew number 2.
And it's like guys who do journalism for 30 years. It's like they haven't even heard of it, which is insane because somebody, I guarantee, you know what I said, though?
They haven't even heard of it. Of course they haven't even heard of it.
Oh, my God.
It's not widely known about. It's not widely distributed. You can't find it on Netflix.
It's got shitty reviews and no one fucking cares. And you know what? If you're a fucking race car journalist for 30 fucking years, the last thing you want to do is sit and watch some half-ass fucking documentary and what.
Right.
So anyway,
I actually watched Winning the Racing Life of Paul Newman.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he talked about it every day, so I decided to check it out. And I watch a lot of documentaries. It's not really well done as a documentary. It's pretty boring.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, the story arc, he talked about this amazing payoff that he ended up getting at the end, and there is no payoff. It just is, and then he did this race, and then he did that race, and then here's a clip from this car that he drove in, and then 2 hours later, you can't get that time back in your life, and it's over.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I understand. I am not going to be watching any more documentaries from Mr. Carolla.
Yeah. And then he spends fucking hours of his life across multiple podcasts. Just fucking, it's so weird that no one's fucking seen my documentary.
All right, I want to take our conversation in a different direction for a minute, then we can get back because you do have a lot of clips that we have to get to. So, over a year ago, it used to be Carolla Digital. He's now on Podcast One.
Yes.
And Podcast One, I think, came out of a radio group, if I'm not mistaken. It's a giant corporation that said, hey, we should get some money from this podcasting thing. I think what they do, correct me if I'm wrong here, Cros, is they help monetize podcasts. So they're the ones that connect the advertisers to the earballs of the listeners of podcasts.
Yes.
And I remember when this Podcast One thing happened, Adam Carolla said, okay, we're going to do something new here. Twice a week, we do 5 shows, 2 shows, there won't be any swearing.
Yeah, clean show.
We're going to do clean shows because, how are we going to get these big advertisers? We don't want to just do Blue Apron.
Yeah.
We don't want to do the shit that monetizes all the podcasts. We want to have Chrysler and we want to have Coca-Cola. So we have to have these clean shows. And there are certain ads that run during the Adam Carolla Show that I get physically ill listening to. They're ads by a company called Geico. Have you heard of this company?
I believe I've heard that name.
Holy fucking shit. They have this thing where the bit is this. Saving money on car insurance by switching to Geico is always a good answer. Okay, that's the payoff. So let me play you the genius writing and acting of these Geico spots that even on terrestrial radio would stand out like a sore thumb.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico.
On what universe is that fucking setup funny? What color is the White House?
Or interesting
interesting.
Anything. Yeah.
That's ridiculously dumb. And the only thing that's good about these Geico spots, I'm going to play a few more of them, is that they're 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I use an app called Overcast where you could just fast forward 30 seconds at a time. So as soon as I hear that Geico setup, poof.
That was one of my questions because the show begins with 2 minutes of advertisements.
Right.
There's 2 minutes of ads at the end.
Right.
There's several live reads and pre-recorded commercial breaks in the middle of the show.
A lot of
tons of
spots.
ads.
Yep.
But especially those beginning and ending segments, like
who's listening to that?
Well, yeah, who's the target audience? I think are paralyzed people who someone comes in and hits play for them and they can't get over to the skip button.
Okay, this one is another Geico spot that is so cringe-inducing. It's so poorly acted and cheesy and unrelatable.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, sunshine.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I mean, Cros, I'm in advertising.
I've heard that, yeah.
That's my profession. And so when I hear these spots, it pisses me off because not only did someone write this down and pitch it to the client, but the client went, yeah, that's fine. Somebody fucking approved this shit. This is the worst written copy I've ever heard. That makes him very happy.
Yeah.
That's a normal conversation I had with a toddler. All right, here's another one. And this one is terrible because it's a fucking sight gag. How this got approved. Listen to this one.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
Ooh, all right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shades.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Hilarious.
Oh, boy.
So, in other words, I guess this painting isn't very good, huh, Cros? Sounds like maybe this guy isn't that good at painting. It's fucking mind-numbingly terrible.
It is.
I have Geico as my car insurance company, and I'm going to switch because of these spots.
I was just going to say I had him until
more.
I heard these commercials.
I will pay more. I don't give a shit. The final one does something that I brought up on a show recently. It's a giant pet peeve of mine, personally. This is the last one I'm going to play for you. So, again, there's 30 seconds. If you want to skip it, just hit the 30-second ahead button. Starting now.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Karl?
Yep, it's Karl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico.
Why is the name Karl always the shithead boob? I don't understand why that's the punchline now. It's like, oh, is this Karl? Creep alert.
Well,
fuck this guy.
I will say you're doing some great work on this podcast to reclaim the good name, Karl.
Thank you, Cros. I do what I can. All right, that was my rant on Geico. There's a shit ton of commercials during Adam Carolla's show, and the Geico commercials need to stop. They actually play. So you had mentioned there's a bet in the beginning, a bet in the middle, a bet at the end. They play that same Geico spot twice during the same episode. Because if you didn't get all the nuance of it the first time, the next time you listen, you're like, oh, the painting sucks. This is hilarious.
You know, it's like a Simpsons episode. Sometimes when you watch for the second time, you get all the jokes that you missed the first time.
Geico commercials are just like season 6 of The Simpsons.
I hear you. So you want to talk about Adam's family?
Does he have a family?
You know what? He never thinks about his family, as he's going to tell you in clip number 10.
Does he have? Because I don't know if he even has parents. Does he talk about them a lot?
Well, he doesn't think about them.
When somebody says you need help financially, or you need help building something, or you need help with your car's broken, or you made the New York Times bestseller list, I don't think about my family ever. Not ever. I think, maybe Kevin Hench can help me out with this thing, or I'm going to tell Dr. Drew, but I made the New York Times, or whatever it is. But I'm not saying I blocked them out. I've been trained to not even think about them.
So he doesn't think about his family, except someone called in with a completely unrelated question. And he's, first of all, he goes, I've been on the New York Times bestseller list, and I made a documentary, and I wrote a book, and I did this, and I did that. And I don't even think about asking my dad about it, because my dad doesn't,
yeah, he's got some issues with his parents. He talks about his parents a lot.
Every show. Every fucking show. Now, here he's going to, on track 11, he's going to introduce a guest named Mark Garagos.
Okay.
So let's see how this goes.
All right.
I am attracted to Mark Garagos.
Sure.
And
Get in line.
Dashing.
I am so attracted. My family is the biggest group of flatliners you'll ever meet in your life. And if you bring up anything to them, like, hey, I'm thinking about renting out my other house because I can afford a new one and I'll get the income. They'll go, well, what if a bunch of bikers move in to cook meth? Like, they'll just everything's like, don't do it. It's a bummer. It's never going to work.
It's a trap.
And Mark Garagos is so positive that I'm actually attracted to his positivity.
This is him trying to introduce someone to the audience.
You know why I like this guy? He's not a shithead like my family. Have I told you my family's a bunch of shitheads?
Yeah, so Karl, my friend Chris is coming over. You're really going to like Chris. He's very cool. He's not like my dad. My dad's a piece of shit. He never loved me. But Chris is cool. You're going to like him.
My dad never went to one of my games, and I was such a good football player, and he was right across the street, and he never showed how many times he brought that up.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But Adam also has a rich home life filled with, a nurturing romantic relationship with his wife. Maybe if you play number 12, we could start listening to a little bit of that.
I always love the follow-up. It's my wife. Did you feed the dog? Yes, I did. So you fed Phil? I passive aggressively never answer. I just stand there because, like, according to your math, we could go forever. We could just keep going for infinity. Like, I could keep saying yes, and you could keep asking.
Rephrasing it.
I already did the first yes.
So now I know you've heard this story 50,000 fucking times, as have I.
Yes.
His wife sometimes asks him, "Hey, did you feed the dog?" And then says, "And you fed him?" And then he just fucking glares at her, gives her the silent treatment. Can you imagine living with someone like that? Like, let's just
be fun.
Let's just say that's a pet peeve of yours, okay? You want to say, "Well, honey, I just said that I did. You don't have to ask me," or something. I mean, there is fucking 10 million decent ways to handle that situation.
Who even knows if that's how it's going down? That's how he's interpreting it in his head. I'll give you some evidence that maybe he's not a lot of fun to hang out with. He tells these stories all the time.
Yeah.
Where they go to Vegas because he's got a gig there and he brings the family. And he has to go back because he's got a bunch of work to do. He's 15 podcasts a week. And the family will say, "No, we're gonna stay here." Or they'll have something going on and they're like, "We're just gonna go to Disneyland. We're gonna take." They love to get the fuck away from this guy.
Oh my God.
And he doesn't come out and say it, but it's very obvious because he talks about it all the time.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah, my family's all doing this fun stuff without me." It's like, yeah, there's probably a reason for that. You're insufferable.
Yeah.
I do like Adam Carolla though. I like the show. Have I mentioned that?
There you go. Well, and that's the thing is, you know what? There are some good things on the show, but listening to it just for these couple episodes I have checked out this week, it was I couldn't take it. Well, you hit number 13. Let's hear another great story about Adam's home life.
When Lynette says to me, "Where's the rubbing compound? I want to take the scuff out of the Jag," I immediately go, huh? No. What's going on? What's going on? That's just how I'm wired.
Okay, so his wife Lynette had a scuff in the Jaguar. He suggested she get some rubbing compound, but she didn't. Then one day she did, and he knew that she was going to pick up someone important. I've heard the story 5,000 fucking times. I know you have as well. Yeah. To the point where it's now a shorthand on his show. Someone called up. This was some totally fucking unrelated fan call.
I actually have this.
Oh, good.
Can we talk about this call?
Oh, please. Please.
All right, so...
As long as it's not my buddy Mike.
All right. So this is Mike.
Oh, I got a good package of this.
Do you want to hit your package first?
You know what? I got a whole saga for this, and they're real short.
Okay.
Why don't you hit number 17? This is our first introduction to Mike.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. We got a call up here. Mike, 50, Chicago. Mike.
Yeah. Hi, Adam. How you doing?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Someone's calling. Someone's roof is leaking. Hold on a second. From Houston. Steven?
Sorry, Mike.
That's all right. We'll get back to him. Yeah, hang on, Mike.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, so hang on. We're just about to talk to Mike. Well, hang on, Mike. Hit number 18. This is right after that call.
All right, I'll talk to Mike in 1 second. First, I'll tell you about Bombfell, an easier way for men to get better clothes.
All right, you got to be fucking kidding me. All right, we're just about to talk to Mike. Let me read this fucking thing.
This is a lot of teases for Mike. This must be an amazing call.
Now, Mike finally gets through.
Yep.
And number 19 is his request.
All right, let's hop up, take one more call. Mike, 50, Chicago.
Hi, Adam. You told a story in the Adam and Drew show last Thanksgiving, and I don't think you ever told it on this show, and I thought Gina and Bald Bryan would like to hear it.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike.
Isn't that funny?
This fucking cretin is on the phone for a fucking hour waiting to get into the Ace Man show. He gets picked up on, "Oh, we're not going to talk to you just yet. Hang on, Mike." Then he takes another call. "Hang on, Mike. We're going to read a fucking ad." Then Mike finally gets through, and what does Mike have to say? "Hey, Adam, could you retell a fucking story that you've already told 50 times about your dad?" And that's what he was on the fucking phone for?
And the funniest part is the way he sets it up. He goes, "I don't know if Gina and Bald Bryan have heard this story before. These people are with him 5 days a week. They've heard don't do it for Gina and Bald. That's fine.
Oh my God.
They don't need to hear it." So,
oh my God.
So this is the question that Mike asks. And this leads to, because I did time it, an 11-minute answer.
Of course it does.
I have in this package that I'm about to present to you, and it's a little bit longer, I apologize. I condensed down the 11 minutes because the question, the story is, at Thanksgiving, your dad started playing a fake trumpet. His dad's a trumpet player. Mm-hmm. And he's like, at Thanksgiving, he started pretending to play the trumpet. So tell that story again. So Adam Carolla can't just identify the question and answer it.
Of course.
He has to go into an endless rant. See what I did there? About his fucking parents and his relationship with his parents again. So here's a clip with him just going on and on and on, and I tried to just skip through so you can get a sense of all the different places this goes. Some of them we might have already heard because it's just half the show, but this is what this sounded like.
Yeah, him and Joel McHale.
Hell yeah.
My dad is so
awesome.
Yes.
He's got this thing, which is everybody just, whatever I do, or cars or racing or comedy or books or whatever, he's just kind of comfortably out of it. That's sort of his plan. His plan is to just be left alone, and the way you can get, here's the deal. And a lot of people might think, well, hit up my dad, or my dad will do it, or my dad, whatever. I've never thought that in my life. I never even have that. They don't ask. I go talk to Congress. I don't talk to. I don't know whether my parents know or have known. So when Lynette says to me, "Where's the rubbing compound?" I want to take the scuff out of the Jag. I immediately go, huh? No. So my dad, who's a ham, which is weird with all his other componentry, showed up at my sister's Thanksgiving, and he forgot his trumpet, or he didn't bring his trumpet, or whatever it is.
Oh, my God.
Why don't we fire up some music, some like jazz music, and I'll scat. My dad was just like sitting there going, shoo-ba-da, ba, ba-da-ba-ba. Really, it's the worst of all worlds. And Mike, did that satisfy your appetite?
You love it.
Yeah. And I see there's a part of me.
Okay, so that was 10 minutes after this guy goes, hey, tell the guys a story about, he talks about everything but that.
Yeah.
For 12 minutes. And then he goes back, he's like, so Mike, is that good?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
And Mike says, I love it.
Fucking hate Mike.
You're a fucking creep.
Mike, go to hell.
Yeah. Thank you.
You go to hell and you die. All right, that was the Mike Caller saga. We can move on from that.
So sometimes Adam has a hot take on a topical issue.
Oh, yes, he does.
So maybe you can hit number 14. Let's hear what Adam thinks about music classes.
And I would get yelled at when I'd see these commercials. I'd be like, hi, I'm Sheryl Crow. You know, a lot of the music programs in high schools and junior highs, we need your help. It turns out people that play the viola are 3 times more likely to hold down jobs or whatever. And it's like, what about jobs for poor people who need to learn pipe fitting and plumbing and being electricians? Like how? And I'd get yelled at by the people who were telling me that music programs were more important than this, which is an insane elitist bullshit angle.
All right. We got a couple things going on here.
Okay.
First of all, Adam Carolla, king of the fucking straw man. Dude, people are yelling at me. People are yelling.
Right.
Who the fuck is yelling at
Nobody's
you, Adam
yelling,
Carolla?
yeah.
No one's yelling at you. No one gives a shit. Now, the other thing we got here is
Adam Carolla feels that there should be more vocational types of education.
Well,
and that should be stressed more.
No, but that's not what he says.
Oh, okay.
What he says is, if you think that music classes are important, you're an elitist piece of shit that doesn't give a fuck about vocational training, Carl. How dare you come into my fucking home and say this bullshit that music classes are good for kids? Like,
I can't believe you're this fired up this early in the morning. I'm glad we're doing the Adam Carolla Show finally. This is good.
Oh my God. Well, dude, like and he's going to be the first one to yell about a slippery slope argument, but every view that he has is a straight up slippery slope. Dude, if you think that the science is true, that music classes are actually really important for the development of the childhood brain, you must fucking hate training kids for plumbing or electricians. Right. Now, I know a couple musicians, and I will say the musicians fucking hate plumbers. I mean, that's just, it's an old stereotype. I know it's an old joke. We all been there. But like, so that's just one. That's the one thing I picked out of there. But, I mean, you could pick any topic as long as it has to do with something that was relevant in the early 1990s when Sheryl Crow would have been making commercials.
Right.
And that's basically the fucking take you'll get out of it. We got a brand new segment in the middle of the show. This was new to me. I was very excited about
is this the Dave Damashek Good Sports segment?
This is called Good Sports.
Yeah, so I like Shecky. I am a fan of Dave Damashek.
I got a big soft spot in my heart for Dave Damashek. I wish I could have heard him talk during a segment on the Adam Carolla Show. So here we have what I believe is a podcast within a podcast. So we're in the podcast, and then we break. Then we have a new theme and a new fucking podcast that's 3-4 minutes long where these guys are going to talk about sports, and then there's an ending theme, and then we go back to the outer podcast. It's a dream within a dream. So let's listen to them talk sports. This is number 15. This is the heart of the good sports segment that I heard.
I don't know, but one of my favorite jokes, and this will be what we'll end the segment with. We haven't talked about sports at all. I wrote a joke for Jimmy Kimmel, which I knew he'd never use for the.
Not familiar with that name.
For the Oscars, where there was one part where he was going to talk to Mel Gibson, and Mel Gibson had just had another kid, and it was like a thing where it's like, geez, Mel Gibson, you're 63 years old, and you just had another kid, and then my joke was, if you just taken your own advice about what should go on in a hot tub, you wouldn't have this mouth to feed now or whatever, because he was screaming, you get into that hot tub and you blow me. Like he was screaming. And I thought that'd be a great obscure joke that Jimmy will never tell.
And he didn't use it.
No.
Ace, let's round it out here.
All right.
There's a little bit of Von Dam in there.
So that's the boys talking sports, except there's nothing to do with sports. That joke was fucking awful. And I love a good Mel Gibson joke.
It wasn't his best. And
it wasn't his best. Now, but let's think about the context here.
Yeah.
I was writing jokes for the Oscars.
Right.
I was at the Academy Awards and I said, hey, Jimmy Kimmel, you should make a joke about him wanting a blowjob in the hot tub because fucking the Academy Awards are going to love that shit.
Oh, yeah. They'll get the camera pointed right at his smiling face and everyone will just have a big belly laugh over that.
What the fuck?
In what world does that happen?
What the fuck is that? I mean, that's not...
So
good. That's not even a good joke for an HBO adult comedy, let alone the Academy Awards. Like, what are you doing there? What are you doing there?
You know that Adam Carolla has this saying, "Don't do your best, do my best."
Oh yes,
he has it on T-shirts and hats. I saw on the subreddit a pretty funny update to that. Don't do Adam Carolla's best, do Jimmy Kimmel's best.
Yeah, no shit, no shit.
I mean, he's not even the most successful person of his peer group.
Yeah, no shit.
Calm down about yourself there, buddy.
Well, so hit number 16. This is a closing theme to the Good Sports segment.
We'll explore it in the next episode.
All right, of good sports. Next time on Podcast One Sports.
Good sports.
I left it in just for the high-pitched wail. That's the worst fuking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I like the good sports music. Come on, that's funny.
It sucks, and it's distracting. It's like...
It's distracting.
I just fucking heard this. Now there's this fucking song with this awful vocal.
What are you doing?
Now we're
studying for a
go
chemistry exam? What do you mean it's distracting? What else are you doing?
I'm trying to pick up valuable information about Adam's childhood in the late 70s in North Hollywood.
Good point.
Now, sometimes Adam Carolla has guests in the studio. One of his favorite guests is a guy named Vinny Tortorich.
Correct.
Vinny is a special, special guy. So right off the bat, number 20, I think he explains why he has the guy in the studio.
I took your supplements this morning.
This guy is a straight-up snake oil salesman. He's going to tell you why you need B12 under the tongue and all this fucking bullshit. And I had a bunch of clips.
Can I give you a little bit of background on Vinny Tortorich?
Please.
He is a nutritionist and, I guess, trainer. He works with a lot of celebrities. His big claim to fame is he's Howie Mandel's
we'll get there, my
nutritionist.
Friend. Oh, we'll get
there. So that's how they got connected.
But Vinny's had some amazing shit happen to him in his life. If you play number 21, he got to meet Mick Jagger.
I met Stallone because of Driven. And it was the same night I met the guy from the Stones, Mick Jagger.
Mm-hmm.
Was Mick Jagger in that movie?
The guy from the Stones.
No, Mick Jagger was in another movie.
Knox Overdrive.
Harlan, whatever. Harlan did that movie?
Now, I'm not fucking with you. They spent 4 minutes on IMDb looking at what movies Mick Jagger was in and what other movies came out at that time with fucking weird cars in them that tried to kill people. Not once did they ask him, hey, Vinny, you met probably the most famous singer of the last 60 years, a guy whose cultural influences is just unmatched. Even if you spent 30 seconds with a guy, what was it like? What was he friendly with? No one gives a shit.
No.
They never ask, dude, you met one of the most famous human beings ever.
There's not a lot of listening.
Let's fucking spend 10 minutes on IMDb looking at fucking movies from 1991. It's fucking awful.
You're angry. I want to cheer you up.
So then...
I want to cheer you up.
Go ahead,
real
Carl,
quick.
please. Bring some... Oh, good stuff.
All right.
That is good shit.
Getting back to
that
it.
does bring some joy to my heart. That really does.
Wow in the world.
I miss my friend Mindy. So then...
Yes.
Vinny takes questions from the cast about nutrition. This is Gina asking a question, number 22.
Yes, Gina, grab.
Here's a fruit category that I don't think we talk about too much, and I just learned this word, so I really want to say it. The stone fruit category. So, like, you know, the plums, the peaches, the apricot with the stones in the middle.
Oh, the stones. All right. I just learned a word, Carl. Stone fruit. It's fruit with stones in the middle. On number 23, Vinny tells us about this.
Papayas, pineapple.
Right.
There's things with desserts. Your liver doesn't know that from a piece of cake.
Right.
Just, your liver doesn't go, wait a minute, he gave me a banana. Bananas can't be bad for you. No, your liver sees it. Your liver is the perfect meritocracy. It's going to just take what you give it.
Carl, did you know that your liver is the perfect meritocracy?
I did know that because I listened to Vinny Tournament.
Oh, okay.
And he told me that.
Every fucking answer. Your liver doesn't know a banana from a piece of crack cocaine, Carl. You just, I mean...
Yeah, that one gets a little bit weird. I think that a banana would hit you a little bit differently than a piece of candy.
Now,
right?
Your liver is an important part of the digestive tract. It's if you base your entire fucking diet over what your liver's into, you're fucked. As you mentioned...
I actually hate my liver, so...
Yeah. Well, you got enough of it now. It's getting pretty large. So...
Good point.
Vinny was Howie Mandel's guy.
Yeah.
He met Adam Carolla through Howie Mandel.
Right.
If you hit number 24, we're going to learn a little something about Howie Mandel.
Yeah, Wood Ranch, right?
Wood Ranch, yeah.
Right.
So while I was having a burger, I was like,
wait, it's
craning my
true.
neck.
You'll back me up that Howie Mandel happily eats popcorn out of a lid of a shoebox that he scoops up from a barrel. And I've told you this story before, but
hit number 25. Hit number 25 right now.
I just couldn't. I was flummoxed that he. And I've told you this story before, but it always stuck with me.
That's where I pulled that from.
Right there.
Now listen. He's told that story so many fucking times.
He's told that story to the same fucking people. He's got Brian, he's got Gina, and he's got Vinny.
Yes.
They've all heard the story 50 fucking times. Let me fucking tell you the story about how Howie Mandel eats fucking popcorn even though he thinks he's a germaphobe. Now hit 26, and what I want you to listen to in this one, listen to the two cast members back him up on number 26.
The popcorn is handful,
you're right,
hand in the mouth, and then multiple handfuls.
So he gets one year right, one yeah, from two people who have heard this thousands of fucking times, dude. It's fucking maddening. I can't even fucking imagine who is listening to the show or getting any entertainment out of it. The people in the fucking room can't even stand it. And yet it's going out over the airwaves.
It is frustrating that he's gotten rid of some things that I used to love about the show, like Larry Miller.
Yeah, Larry Miller's great.
Larry Miller was on every week, and they would do, what was the road trip game?
Hypothetical road trip game.
Hypothetical road trip. That was always fun. And now, instead of that, he's got Blink-182 True as a guest.
Oh, yeah.
So just a few weeks ago, and I actually, because I know Cros doesn't listen to the show anymore, I had to talk to him about it before I knew we were going to do this podcast. He had a band that covers a band that used to be famous, and they were his guests in studio.
Yeah.
A Blink-182 tribute band called Blink-182 True.
Well, the Wallflowers...
What the fuck is going on here?
The Wallflowers cover band was booked that day,
so
they couldn't make it in.
How did this happen, though? Is this something coming out from Podcast One, or does he have a boss now?
And that's the other thing.
The pirate ship.
They have no problem not having a guest. They'll often have a show with no guests in it.
They don't need a fucking guest.
They don't need. Well, they talk over the guests anyway. Who gives?
Oh, that brings me to something that I think is hilarious. I'm reading the description of the Adam Carolla Show on iTunes. I think it might need to be updated a little bit. So it says 5 days a week and completely uncensored. Wrong. Adam welcomes a wide range of guests to join him in studio for in-depth interviews.
Wrong.
What? In-depth interviews? Adam Carolla tells guest stories, and he's told the listeners 80 times.
Yeah, fact check.
You haven't heard this yet, so let me tell you about this thing with Howie Mandel. Even if they have heard it before, he tells the guests that. And then he says, check out as Adam hangs out with some of his pals like Larry Miller. Nope. David Allen Greer.
Nah, you many years.
I haven't heard Dag in years. Dr. Drew, Dana Gould, Doug Benson. These people are not on his show anymore. I don't know what they're talking about.
I think Doug Benson famously complained about going on the Adam Carolla Show and not getting in 2 words edgewise.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is he's definitely harmed his own brand with a lot of his Hollywood buddies because he's gone so right-wing in all of his politics and ranting that I think that people like Dana Gould are like, all right, that's fine, dude. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, so this is going back a long ways. Back in Loveline, he used to have David Alan Grier, and David Alan Grier
is the best.
He's a fucking character, man.
He's
that
great.
guy is funny. And he would go off on this stuff, and they'd be talking to the callers. It was so funny. Like, I remember being in my cubicle with, like, my fist in my mouth because I was laughing so fucking hard. And then, you know, as the years went on, he started getting him into the Adam Carolla Show those early years. And he would literally have David Alan Grier, who's super talented, recreate bits from the Loveline days. Like, remember when Dr. Drew read off the ingredients in birth control and you pretended they were children's names that we did that last time you were in too and the time before that? Let's do that again. And I'm going to read off some shit from Wikipedia. And it's like, we've already fucking heard this to the point where Dag would get on the air and be like, we're not doing this again, are we, Adam? Like, it was just fucking nonstop.
You know who else complains about that is Jay Moore. Jay Moore, love him or hate him, does a lot of great impressions.
Yeah.
And every time Jay Moore comes on the show, there was one time he was funny 3 years ago, and Adam Carolla, that's the only thing that he wants him to do.
Yeah.
And same thing with Joe Coy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Poor Joe Coy. He's like, really? I have to do that? He's even said that. Like, really, Adam, I have to do this again?
Yeah.
Like, can you give me a little bit of credit that I'm a comedian? I might have some other angles and bits that we could do.
Yeah. And it's not like it's a boring world. You could open up the newspaper and find something to talk about, I'm sure. All right. Why don't we listen to a fan's review of the Adam Carolla Show? This is a fan that contributed $10,000 to one of the fundraising things.
Wow.
This is number 28.
Holy crap, 10,000, huh?
Yeah, we're going to get there.
You know, it just sort of, there was a lot of like, all right, I get it. I've heard that. I'm sort of moving on. Seemed to be a lot of repetition in the bits.
Really?
Guess.
I don't think anyone else has noticed this repetition business.
Right. I feel like just saying that is repetition. Now I'm guilty of it.
Oh shit! Well,
we're guilty. Yeah, I'm super guilty of it because I've spent an hour fucking yelling about this. So here's a guy who spent $10,000, and the reason he spent $10,000 is he wanted to be in the movie. So Adam Carolla did a movie a couple years ago. It was called Road Hard, and he crowdfunded it. He accepted donations and whatnot from his audience in order to get rewards. This is about a minute long. This is from a show called Afterpod, but this kind of sums up how the reward thing went. This is number 29.
Okay, so first a little background. In March 2013, Adam Carolla launched a Fund Anything crowdfunding campaign to raise the funds to make his second feature film, Road Hard. That campaign raised almost $1.5 million. As a reward for backing the film, the donors were offered various packages, ranging from a PDF of the screenplay to T-shirts, Blu-rays of the movie, advanced screenings, etc., etc. Since 2013, though, there have been many reports of the rewards taking almost literally years to arrive, not arriving at all, wrong size T-shirts going out, various other issues. Some of these complaints were even aired on recent Adam Carolla shows when fans confronted Adam at live shows to ask why they hadn't had their dinner with Adam or visited the studio or whatever their rewards were. There was even a claim on Reddit from a guy who paid to be followed on Twitter for a year, and he wasn't, which would have been a 3-second job, so that seems a little bit odd. One of the top-end rewards, costing $10,000, was the chance to appear in the movie in a speaking role, which brings us to today's guest, Aaron Foster.
Now, that could be Sour Grapes. This is just from some podcast I found on YouTube. This could be just somebody complaining.
Hold on, can we back up real quick? That was a long clip. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I'll let you unpack it.
Of course.
But you paid to be followed for a year on Twitter? What the fuck is that? I've never heard of such a thing.
People do crazy shit, man.
Okay, go ahead.
So, now again, this could be bullshit, except I was listening to the Adam Carolla Show during this whole time, and just the stuff that he talked about on the air was fucking atrocious. People were getting, like, plaques and rewards and shit with the wrong names on them. Everybody who got a T-shirt got the wrong size T-shirt. People were coming up. He was fulfilling these rewards for years afterwards. People who paid in, it was like $30 or some shit to get an advance Blu-ray, got the Blu-ray in the mail 6 months after the movie that they fucking financed was on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
So, basically, everyone that gave to this fucking thing got completely fucking ripped off and was upset about it. And then, look, I never saw the movie. I might be talking about my ass, but every review I've read has said it's fucking horrible. Everybody I've heard talk about it says it's not very good. Just everything about this was a fucking train wreck disaster.
Yeah, I watched it on an airplane.
Yeah.
And when you're on an airplane, there's not a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it had my undivided attention. And it was not good.
Yeah.
He tries to shoehorn in this romantic comedy thing that's completely unbelievable. It wasn't a very good movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I think that's why he's gotten into the documentary business.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to write jokes or a story arc or act.
Sure.
It makes his life a lot easier.
And again, I might be talking to my ass. From what I've heard of the movie, it's the same as his books, the same as his live show, the same as fucking everything else he does. It's just the same fucking jokes over again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The dude he's described writing books. He is a guy that listens to his podcast, writes down whenever he says something funny that he hasn't said before, which
actually he has somebody else write it down for him, but yeah.
Precisely, that's what I'm saying. Somebody else listens to the podcast, writes down something that's funny, and then they turn that and make that into a book. So if you've already heard the podcast, you've already read the fucking book, and you've already seen the movie, you don't even have to lift a fucking finger. So the fundraising thing is really fucking, it drives me up a wall.
Okay.
Especially for a fucking show that's got...
drives you up a wall.
It's got 10 minutes of fucking advertisements in it, and we're still...
Right.
Now, 2 weeks ago, Karl, the Adam Carolla Show started a brand new venture to raise money.
Okay.
This is called Carolla for a Cause.
All right.
And I want you to hit number 30 so we can learn about Carolla for a Cause.
Here's the best part. You can pledge any amount you want, and 10% is going to charity. That's what we call win-win-win.
Fuck you.
What?
Fuck you.
10% is going to charity.
You. Fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. If you're listening to this, anyone who's out there, if this is in your earbuds right now, fuck you. That is the most
insane. What is that?
So this is a Patreon.
Okay.
This is a Patreon. You can sign up to support the Adam Carolla Show and get this, Karl. 10% of your money is going to charity.
Just generic charity?
Just charity.
Not anything specific.
It's not a specific charity.
Just charity.
It's not going to help a specific set of people. They won't even name a fucking charity. They're going to give 10%, but it's charity with a capital C on the Patreon page, which I think is fucking hilarious. Now, I didn't check this in the last couple days, but I think it was under 20 Patreons when I last looked.
Dude, even Hillary Clinton would be like, wow, I think that's a little bit mischievous. I don't know if you could do that.
Good God. Dude, so listen. Right now, if you're within the sound of my voice, get on the WATP Patreon that may or may not actually exist. We're going to give 11% to charity.
No, stop it right there.
All
I do not give anything more than 8% to charity. That's a rule that I have.
10.5.
Listen, I don't make up the rules. I just write them down, and then we abide by them.
There you have it. So...
That's funny.
You get 10 minutes of commercials. Now you can donate to Adam Carolla, who will then potentially, I guess, donate to some mystery fucking charity that they won't even tell you about. Dude, I can't fucking take it. I don't know who's listening to the show. I don't...
You do know. I've listened to the show.
Okay.
You know what, though? That's ridiculous. I didn't know about this Carolla for a Cause thing. I guess I'm not listening that closely. I will say that when it comes to monetizing your podcast, nobody double dips more than How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that show?
Just in passing.
Okay, I'm a fan of How Did This Get Made. But what they do is they do almost all live shows where they charge admission to get in. They do 2 shows a night, so they run in a whole group of people, and then they run in a whole other group of people.
No kidding.
They do live reads and commercials.
Yeah.
And you can donate to the show, and they'll say your name on the show. So they're like getting money every single possible way that they can get money from it. And I don't know. I know Adam Carolla does live shows from time to time. I don't know if he charges for them or not. He probably does.
The one he did in this neck of the woods, he did charge. There are tickets.
Okay.
But, and you know what? Like, if you, look, it's hard work, man. This dude's doing a podcast every day, multiple podcasts every day.
Dude, every day. Yeah.
This is my 3rd podcast ever, and I'm fucking exhausted, okay?
Yeah, I'm exhausted listening to you.
I can't imagine doing a fucking show every day. I mean, like, and that's the thing, like, the strength of the show could be that it's a daily show. You can talk about what people are going to be talking about that day. Oh, something happened in the news, something, whatever.
No, we're just going to talk about racing. And also, did you know that Gavin Newsom was once on his show and he did an interview with Gavin Newsom?
I didn't even fucking get there, dude. and you know what? Here's the thing. Of all the shit I got, I never got, like, a clip of him totally misunderstanding something in the news.
Right.
I didn't get a clip of him having Gary Google something, because Gary's one of the guys that works there, and I've spent fucking hours of my
Gary,
life.
do me a favor. Will you Google a picture of so-and-so next to What's His Nuts and show it to Bald Bryan?
Give me a picture of Suzanne Summers from 1979. No, not with that haircut, Gary. What the fuck? That's the wrong fucking haircut.
Gary, I'm trying to prove a point to Bald Bryan about something that no one can see because this is a podcast, and I'm telling you to Google pictures. Yeah, it's insane.
So here's what I want to leave you with, Carl.
All right.
One of the bright spots of the show that I found. Number 31, this is Gina Grad showing off her karaoke skills.
Oh, my God. I have heard this.
Crank it. Turn it up, dude. Let's fucking enjoy
this. Oh, my God.
Let's do it.
I'm already mad at you.
I hate karaoke. I'm terrified of it. It's the one thing I refuse to do, except Gwen Stefani.
Can you sound like her?
This is all I got. Ready? All right. Back up. Sorry, I'm not home right now. I'm walking in this photo. Leave a message and I'll call you back.
That is spot on.
I like this story, but leave a message and I'll call you back.
Fuck it. I can't fucking take it, dude. What the fuck is going on here?
All right. Well, I think you've made your point very well here, Crow. I think you've done a good job. I did set it up last week that you would be ranting about the ranter, and you have lived up to that expectation.
But other than that, I have no feelings on the subject.
Okay.
Who are these podcasts?